Hey, what would happen if a dude made like a female version of Pound Town? Like I'm out here in Miami looking for the night walkers, them type of bitches that be stalkers. You know I love them night walkers.
Yeah, give me a hood rat bitch.
You know what? Project bitch, yeah. Well, we've said bitch
Yeah.
4 times in 30 seconds.
Hell of a start.
Hey, before we get into the shits, man, the Beyonce comments were hilarious. And I know you didn't follow up and look at some of the rest of them, but I will say the Beehive behaved better than I thought they would. But some of the stuff that they had, like their commentary on us was not nice.
Well, I guess they took what we said as not nice about Beyonce, but nobody said anything was wrong with Beyonce. If anything, all I did was compliment how, vocally she sounded great. Like I said that multiple times. I also said that, production wise, you could tell she put a lot of money and effort into it. Nobody said her performance was bad. We said that she didn't do any hits and that the concert was for gay men. That's all I said. Nothing. It was nothing against Beyonce. It had everything to do with my ears. You know what I mean? And my point of view, not everything outside of my point of view. It had everything to do with my point of view. And I think that we both shared the same point of view from a sense of, man, she's really doing a lot of these gay anthems, and this is for the gay men. This concert is not for us. Let's just go get beers. You know what I mean? That was all it was on our end. I don't think it was anything against Beyonce.
One of the things that got us was when we discussed whether or not she had some work done. Here we go.
Body looks really good for somebody that had kids and stuff. So So I get it. She's rich. She's rich. So I get it.
Listen to this. It takes dedication. You can't perform at that level without hard work. And that woman works hard. I said, who said she didn't work hard? Everyone has a right to their opinion. My comment is in regard to the question you guys posed about her body being surgically done. A lot of women, famous and not, just work hard to keep their bodies up at all ages. I'm over 40 and headed to the gym this morning because that's what I do. With the amount of exercising, rehearsing, and performing that she does, I don't imagine she has time to maintain surgical procedures too, just saying. And I'm like, this woman disappears for years at a time. What are you talking about? Beyonce is not on the red carpets. She's not dropping albums or Lucy's. You're not spotting Beyonce.
Features.
Yeah, no, like you go a long time without seeing Beyonce. She's not active on Insta like Cardi B, where you get, hey, waking up this morning, this nigga Offset tripping, I'm hungry, and this nigga is just, boy, this nigga sleep. Like, you don't get that out of Beyonce.
Yeah.
Then another comment, same commenter goes, keep in mind, Beyonce has the best physical trainers and chefs money can buy too. But believe as you please. Just my thoughts. Have a great day, people. Emoji. Hey, dog. Here's why I titled that shit Beehive Behave. Because we were trying to have an objective conversation about Beyonce. Some stuff was tongue-in-cheek. Some stuff was in jest. But it's like, hey, dog, we're throwing shit at the wall right now. Let's see if anything sticks. Like, one dude, I'm all about the women talking shit to us, stand up for black queens, all of that. But when it becomes a dude, that's when I'm like, hey, hold your horses.
What did the guy say?
You guys absolutely need help. I'll just learn to do my best and leave the rest because it's impossible. It's absolutely impossible to please people. I said, well, yes, pleasing everyone is impossible. I'm sure there were people who left pleased. It just wasn't us. What's wrong with that? I believe the real truth is not that you guys were not really pleased. You're just looking for what to talk about on your channel, and there's no better buzz than B. I said, nah, bro, we're fans of hers and did enjoy the show. We discussed current events, and this is a current event in our lives. If it were great, we would have praised it. It seems like you didn't listen to the entire clip. And then like he commented on like every other comment. Like some chick just said, boy, bye. I said, hello, how are you doing? And he said, tell them, sis.
Yeah, the ad-libbing type comments to piggyback.
And you just sitting there, it's like, hey, we weren't knocking Beyonce at all. We are Beyonce fans. We spent time and money to set up our night to see Beyonce. Do you think we would just go do all of that to come on a podcast to try to get 2 minutes of clout by shitting on her? No, nigga. Like,
well, that and then I mean, I'm not a music critic or anything like that, so it's not like I went there to be a journalist. I went there to enjoy the show, and I left disappointed because she didn't really do any of the songs I was expecting her to do. Songs that I liked. I knew she was going to do her album. I got that. I understood that. But then it just seemed like that's all it was about. It was about that and,
the horse.
Yeah, it was about that. It wasn't about anything else. Renaissance tour. Now I get it. It wasn't a best of Beyonce's tour. It was a Renaissance tour. And so, like I said, if you were a fan of that album, you probably loved the concert. If you didn't listen to that album or you're not a fan of that album, you probably were disappointed.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because you've been to many concerts, I've been to many concerts. Most artists perform the album, and interwoven are the slaps.
Yep.
So even if you don't like the album that they're touring, they do enough of the slaps that you leave happy.
Yeah, like Watch the Throne. Obviously, I love referencing that particular concert because it's the best I've ever been to. But they, kicked it off by doing, Ham, and then No Church in the Wild. Then they did another song off Watch the Throne. Then Kanye did some songs from College Dropout. He left. Then Jay-Z comes up, does some of his early stuff. Then they both get back on the stage again and do more Watch the Throne. Then Jay-Z does, some of his hits. Then Kanye comes back, does some of his hits. It flowed like that. But Beyonce, she started off, what was it? She did like the cover. She did a cover of a song.
But it was an altered version of Dangerously in Love.
Yeah, then she did that. Yeah, then she did Dangerously in Love. But she did like a Tina Turner song too. She did like a.
Maybe I was boozed up. I don't remember.
Yeah, no. She gave her a shout out or whatever. But it was a song like I had never heard from Tina Turner. Like, it wasn't,
and here's
her slaps either.
Here's the shitty thing about it is a little thing like that I don't remember. And I don't not remember it because I was so drunk. Because I promise you, I wasn't my drunkest when the concert started. Trust and believe. But the fact that you don't remember stuff like that, you go, wow, this wasn't as memorable as I wanted it to be. And unfortunately, in the world that we live in, as a black man, you can't come and criticize Beyonce without being called crazy stuff. And, bro, thank God, like the video didn't actually go viral, because this shit would have went viral, bro. We probably wouldn't have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, it would have been reported and
hate speech.
Yeah, basically any and everything that preserves the Beyonce brand and name.
Hey, so question for you. Do you think artists like Beyonce, who has like a rabid fan base, who does not speak or interact with those people at all, the only time she deals with them is when they give her money, do they owe it to society to try to control their fan base?
Are we talking strictly Beehive members or
what? Yeah, like I'm talking about like the Beehive. Like you got the Beehive, you got whatever Nicki's fan base is, whatever Meg the Stallions fan bases, like these crazy fans who will go like. If we had an objective conversation about the Meg and Tory thing and we tagged it appropriately on YouTube, we'd get crazy comments saying that we hate black women, right? When we say, bro, there's so much that we don't know in this. Even you know what I'm saying? Like if we like those people with those types of fan bases, does the artist, the creator, do they owe it to society to be like, hey yo, bro, y'all chill, man, like you're doing too much?
Yes and no. And I say yes and no because I think depending on the situation, I think commenting on stuff isn't that big of a deal. But, if it came to something like, I've seen Nicki Minaj, for instance, on Twitter, like encourage people to almost bully other people.
And that's what I'm talking about.
That type of stuff is when I do think it's the creator's responsibility to get a hold of stuff and, not pour lighter fluid on stuff. But I've seen her specifically do it. Beyonce just doesn't say anything.
Well, Beyonce hasn't done an interview in 20 years. Nobody even knows what she thinks about anything. And she has like a rabid fan base.
Yeah.
Here's a parallel to like Beyonce, right? I take it to Chris Brown. Just the ignorance of human beings. The way people ride so hard for Beyonce and they will tell me how she feels about stuff when Beyonce has literally not done an interview in my adult life. She does not talk to anybody. She doesn't tell you how she feels. For all we know, Beyonce speaks broken English. I haven't heard her talk since Goldmember or that one.
Yeah.
But I went to a Chris Brown concert in San Diego in like 2016, 2017. And this is back, now Chris Brown, he stays out the news. He be chilling. He don't really be doing too much no more. But this was still when Chris Brown was still having his little temper tantrums and shit, right?
Yeah.
The amount of women who went crazy as he came on stage and he had like, he came from the bottom. He came from ground up, right? Fab opened for him. So Fab had smoked that shit. He had the room warmed up. Then Chris come up, and I'm seeing women next to me. I was a single guy that night, So I'm, daddy working. So I'm watching how these women are going crazy. I go, girl, don't you know he will slap the shit out of you if you get wrong with him? But they didn't care because they love the music and the feeling it gives them that much. And that's what I take away from these Beehive fans, these hotties, all these other fans. I'm like, dog, this person may not even mean you any good.
Yeah, might not give a fuck about you or something that you agree with. They might be strongly disagreeing with it, right? Like whether that's politics, anything, bro, right?
Imagine us like ready to fight people over like Thug. When we know that what Thug stands by and lives by means us no good as civilians.
Yeah, and look, it's not just them. I mean, look, you can look at the current event today that's going on in Atlanta, right? There are people that it doesn't really matter what Donald Trump does. They're going to kind of be behind him, and they're not going to look at something objectively. They're gonna, look at this stuff. What's it called?
Objectively.
It's a tunnel vision.
It's tunnel vision.
Type thing. Yeah. And so, it's no. I can agree with. See, that is something that I am. I can be objective about a lot of different things. Even somebody like Kanye. Anyone that knows me knows I'm a huge Kanye fan. I don't agree with everything that he says. I love his music. Like, I love his music. That's why I'm a fan of his. I like his music. And I do, as a person, I think he is a good dude. Like, in terms of, like, I think that he's one of the more authentic niggas in this lifetime because just because you don't agree with him, at least he will say exactly what's on his mind as opposed to sugarcoating or lying about something. I can respect the authenticity of the person. Because I think that that's the way that people should live, is be authentic. Now, it doesn't mean I agree with what he says, but I do believe, I'm like, well, damn, at least we know where he stands, you know?
You know what? You know what, Parlay Pete? You're hitting on something good right there. Because our society is so fake that you can get praised. Here we go. I was listening to Cowherd, right? You know, listen to him every day. He was talking about how certain quarterbacks, they go to the podium, they always say the right thing. And he likes that. And I go, so you like somebody lying in your face because they say what's right. Whereas, you know, when Baker Mayfield called out his running back for not wanting to come to camp because about his money, which Baker was wrong. You don't ever talk on another grown man money. But Baker's talking about the team. Hey, man, we need you here for the team. Fuck your money. Like, we need you here for the team. And when you're thinking about the greatness of the team, you don't care about people's money. You want the best people to be in position, right? What Baker said was bullshit, and I don't agree with him saying it or even thinking it's okay to say it, but nonetheless, it was authentic to who he is. And Cowherd would rather somebody sound good at the mic versus just saying what they actually feel. And too often in our society, we rather hear good things than hear the truth. If they tell us, you can't tell your lady she's fat, or you don't like her hair, or you don't like her outfit. Well, hey, dog, if you gaining weight and I can't tell you gaining weight, how the fuck you gonna lose weight? You want me to be attracted to your ass, right? Sorry, I got a weight limit. Yeah. I'm like a fucking tow truck. I can only haul so much weight. Well, you get
right.
I can't move you. If I can't move you, I don't want you. So I should be able to tell you that. Oh, you did this to your hair. You should know that shit's terrible. So you don't do it again. Because you might keep bad decisions if I don't tell you the truth. Oh, but if he says the right things. Fuck the right things. Give me the truth. Even if I don't like it in the moment.
Hey, I'm still here. I just got something. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
You're good. So it's crazy how people can fall so in love with talent, right? You fall so in love with talent that, let me see, my background okay? It ain't the best, but it could be. People fall so in love with talent that they forget about the person. And when it comes to entertainer, I don't care about the entertainer. I don't care about the person. I care about the talent. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to go out and defend the talent like I defend the person. If somebody's talking greasy about Parlay Pete, I'm going to defend the person.
Right.
Damn about how good he is as a professional, how good he is on the podcast. I'm defending the person because that's my guy. I know him. I've known this man since 2011. I spend a lot of time with this guy, especially during football season. Like, we have conversations that we'd never talk about on this platform. Like, shit that I've told him, he told me, and they stay in the box in between us. So I can defend the person because we built up that type of relationship. But y'all people be defending the talent like it's like you know the person. And that's
and that's the issue. You know, they don't know you, they in reality. And okay, there we go. And it's a problem, and it's something that I've noticed for a long time. Back in my days when I actually had a visible Twitter and not just a burner account, I just remember used to seeing people that were Ariana Grande fans, all this other stuff.
You good?
I'm sorry. No, I see something else. I have an employee that's texting me.
I tell that man you on vacation.
No, it's not even that. It's this guy said, "Hey, sir, sorry to bother you, but what other things do I need to do so I can get my direct deposit? Why do I need to do that?" And I don't know what the hell he's talking about. I said, "You don't have anything else to do. You've already filled out everything on Gusto." He said, "I did, but not the direct deposit. It's the one that goes really fast, I think." And I'm looking at this and I don't know what he's talking about.
He probably went to one of them loan sharks so he could get paid on Thursday instead of Friday.
But he didn't start until this Monday, so he's not getting paid Friday anyways.
Oh, I think that's the miscommunication. I think he thought he was gonna get paid today.
I don't know anyone that does that. How can I pay him for this week when he hasn't even worked Friday yet? You know what I mean? Like, some people don't even use logic when it comes to that stuff. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. And this dude's already was kind of annoying in general. And you know when you start to regret to hire someone?
I don't hire people, but I will say that I have regretted giving certain people favors and access.
Or even just assigning a task. I mean, anything where you're just like, man, if I knew that it was going to be all this, I would have just went with somebody else. Like, you know, it's not even that I'm out in the country or anything. That is irrelevant. But let's see, it's 9:30 there, right? So, why are you texting me this on a Thursday night? What are we getting at? What are you filled out your direct deposit information? Why are you? What is this? What are we talking about right now at 9:30?
He's broke.
Now, granted, he doesn't know that I'm in Tokyo, fucking, you know, chugging coffee and beer right now. But at the same time, if I was sitting in Atlanta, I'd probably be with my daughter, putting her to bed, maybe watching a little Falcons preseason or something. I don't know. Hell, I guess I'd be at the game, right?
You either be at the game or you be on the pod.
Yeah, well, right. Because, I didn't really too much care to go to this anyways. But I got to see what I wanted to see again when they played the Bengals. But, I guess, the tickets are the tickets still.
I gave my tickets away on Facebook today, this week.
For free?
Yeah, I just hopped on Facebook. I said, I have preseason tickets to the Falcons game. They're yours if you want them.
So first come, first serve, huh?
No, it wasn't first come, first serve. It was whenever I opened it up, I looked at it and said, oh, yeah, you get them. And there are some people who I actually need to hit back and say, hey, I'd already gave them away before you commented or before you DM'd. Because there's some people who I rock with who asked for them. But it was really on some like charity type shit. You know what I mean? Like to the person who got them, I think of you as a charity case. But it was really like, hey, bro, I got good seats. I'm not going to this game. It's a preseason game. If I put them on the website on the exchange, I'm not gonna get these shits off.
Yeah.
And if I get them off, I'm gonna get them off for $10. Like, I'm not that much of a penny pincher, bro. I just get these shits away. Hopefully, I get a hopefully somebody give me some goodwill, some good karma, like moving forward, bro. Like I gave both of my tickets away. Like,
yeah, and so that's totally understandable. I'm going to go see a baseball game today. Really excited about that.
Now, my regular season tickets, if you want to buy them off of me, you got to pay a pretty penny because I want to go to every game.
Well, that, and then you just can't give away regular season tickets.
No, bro.
You're seeing the NFL's product. Not its secondary products or its off-brand items. You're actually getting the premium service on the field. So
I only gave away tickets last season because about my wife's pregnancy, where it's like, oh, I think I'm going to I thought I was going to the Chargers game, and then I find out, oh shit, I'm having my kid today. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So shit like that. Well, yeah, I kind of try to get those tickets away, but for the most part, no. Like, you got to pay for these, or I'm just gonna eat them, and they're not gonna be used. I can't.
But even worst case scenario, you could. The thing with Falcons tickets, somebody will. You can get something on it. You can salvage them. You know what I mean? Somebody will, even if you don't get, depending on how bad they are. Like, let's say, I think our tickets. I don't even remember what they are per seat. It's like it's like $300 and something on those seats.
I can get 100 per seat damn near any week, bro. Like,
yeah, exactly. You can get something for them.
Like, I'm not like, for anybody listening, I'm in the one section. Will not tell you what section it is. I'm in the ones, and it's row 10. I can get $100 for those for per ticket. Like,
yeah, really, I'd say 150. Like off rip and not even having to.
Yeah, like you are just so close to the action, and if you want to go dap up Pastor Troy in Big Tigger, you can walk over there and dap him up and ask for a picture. Like, that's giving up too much information, but nonetheless, we're that close to where, dog, $150. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, you're stupid if you don't want to pay this much. But anyways, we haven't got to anything we plan to talk about. Real quick, let's take a moment of silence. Let's take a pause to tell Plum Dog Millionaire, a.k.a. Kelsey Plum, a.k.a. my favorite WNBA player, happy birthday. We repping
happy birthday,
dog.
Happy birthday, sexy Kelsey. Yeah.
I'm not going to call y'all that. Happy birthday, Kelsey Plum. We would love to have you.
Well, just say happy birthday to your girlfriend. I mean,
I don't have a girlfriend.
You can address her as such. Your wife's okay with it.
I don't know if she's okay with it. I just think she assumes it. Like, I don't have a girlfriend. I have a wife. Kelsey Plum has a husband. And I just think she's a great basketball player. I've been a fan of her since she was at UW. She's from San Diego. Shout out to my second favorite city in America. I hope to move back there soon, actually.
One thing's for sure, she loves her some niggas.
You are fucking up the clip that I'm trying to cut to get the like.
Well, it is what it is. But yeah.
Hey,
happy birthday, Kelsey.
Hey, question for you.
Yeah.
You put in the group one day and you said you could see me going back to San Diego. Why?
Easy lifestyle to want to be a part of. And I think that if you weren't in Atlanta, that would be your first choice.
It is my first choice outside of the taxes.
Yeah. And here's the thing too. And obviously I know that you would probably have changed your profession by that time, but let's say that you didn't, there are the perks. There are still the perks of that too.
If I don't change my profession and I get the opportunity to go to San Diego, I am there tomorrow.
Yeah.
Even with changing my profession, I'm sending out feelers out there.
Yeah, as you should. A lot of good eating out there too. Really an underrated food scene.
San Diego, as popular as it is, it may be one of the most underrated cities in California. Because it's looked at as a secondary city because
of LA.
It's not San Fran. But if you're not industry focused for your vacation, if you want to go to SoCal, go to San Diego, bro.
And I was gonna say, maturing is admitting that I have more fun in San Diego than I do in LA.
Yeah. I mean,
now, don't get it twisted. I think I would still rather live in Los Angeles, to be completely honest with you. I would rather live there, but
based on your business and your network, it makes sense because a lot of the people that we know who are in LA are not mature enough to say that San Diego is a better city.
Yeah.
Because we've seen people move from really nice apartments in San Diego to having a roommate in a studio in LA.
Yeah.
And you're like, nigga, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But because of your relationships and mainly because of your relationships, LA makes more, and your business, LA makes more sense.
And obviously being a big sports fan, and of course being a Lakers fan specifically, there's that aspect of it too. The pro sports thing is a big deal to me. And even flying, for what it's worth, you can't fly from San Diego to go certain places. Like, I have to fly from LA to go certain places. So, like, yeah, because San Diego doesn't. I mean, what's up there? Probably Southwest. That might be the only thing I can think of that might be because Delta's not hub there. American's not hub there. Who's and maybe United? I don't know. Like I don't know. So it's like I feel like from there, like I can't fly from San Diego to Tokyo, for instance. Like I have to go to LA to do that. So I think LA is much more of a gateway too, just in general.
So LA is the weed capital, huh? It's the gateway.
Yeah.
Do you think weed's really a gateway drug? Because I don't.
No, I don't, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't do drugs, and I don't smoke weed either. So, and I have smoked weed, and I have done drugs, but like they don't. It doesn't. I don't think that's what propelled me to even want to try shrooms. Like it didn't propel me to do anything else. Acid, coke, like it did. It didn't propel that. I don't think that's where it started.
Yeah. You ready to talk some college football?
Yeah, man. I want to talk some college football.
I mean, we got so much to talk about, and so many different storylines in college football. But I'm going to tell you, our first storyline is the most important storyline. The rest of the shit I'm doing for the podcast because I want to engage the audience, but I hardly care about any of that shit. But here's what I care about. Parlay Pete. Are we gonna on Kobe Day? And we even talk about Kobe. We got to talk about Kobe today. On Kobe Day, are we gonna do what ain't nobody did since Kobe in 3-peat?
I like their chances. I really do. Obviously, I think it's gonna depend kind of on Carson Beck, right? I mean, he's been sitting there long enough in his limited action. I mean, fuck, he drove the ball down TCU's throat. And look, I think we could have drove down TCU's throat if we were in the game too. But he looked pretty good in the series that he did. Because think about it, Kirby was letting him throw the ball. They weren't just running the ball on him. I mean, he was throwing it on TCU. And look, the game was out of hand. But that's pretty much the only action we got to see. I didn't follow it enough to see what he did in the spring game and stuff like that. But, we know that he's been –
I don't care what he does in the spring game because he could play like shit in the spring game and then light up most of the country.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you Tom Brady had better games than he had practices most of his career.
Yeah.
So, Carson, you don't have a great spring game? All right. But here's what I need to tell you, dog. You better have a great season because next year your ass is going to the bench.
Well, Kirby has shown time and time again that he'll bench you in the first game. I think of DeJuan Mathis. Do you remember DeJuan Mathis?
I remember the name. What happened?
He was the black guy that started – he started one year Georgia opened the season up against Arkansas. We started off with an SEC game.
He was
and DeJuan Mathis, yeah, he was a black guy. He got benched for Stetson because he had a bad first half. He didn't look good. Stetson came out. Stetson didn't even look great in the second half, but Stetson was leading scoring drives. And so
I think Kirby learned from the Fromm mistake, the Fromm Fields mistake.
Hell, I'd say and that's been Kirby's Achilles heel. That's why this is such a big deal on how good Beck is, because this has been his issue. You know what I mean? What's his face out of Washington?
Jacob Eason.
It was the Jacob Eason Fromm thing, then the Fromm Fields thing.
But the Eason Fromm thing was right. Eason just got hurt and Fromm was cooking.
Yeah.
Like I hardly believe anybody watched Jacob Eason and Jake Fromm practice and go, give me Fromm. But Eason gets hurt, Fromm turns it on, he does his thing. But then we're like,
couldn't turn back.
We're bringing the number 2 quarterback in. I got Fromm got us to the Natty. We didn't believe in Fromm that whole time. Fromm was not Aaron Murray.
Right.
Aaron Murray, we knew he was not a pro quarterback, but he was a hell of a college quarterback. Every Saturday you go, nah, I believe we can win because we have Aaron Murray.
Right. Oh shit. Sorry. I'm working with a
working with a phone.
Yeah, well, it's an ashtray and a like napkin holder that I'm got this thing pinged up on.
You got some cigs?
No, it's funny though. Smoking is a big thing here in Japan. A lot of people smoke, I've noticed. And it's a lot of people here. Of course, this is the largest city in the world by population, and I've noticed that these rooms there, and it doesn't smell like smoking here or anything, but every room was a smoking room.
Well,
that you could possibly get. They're all smoking rooms, so they still do that here.
Yeah, only in America.
Smoking rooms.
Yeah. When I was in the Middle East, bro, every club bar reeked of heavy cigarette smoke. Like I started going out. I used to go out like an AAU coach, bro. I would put on like the Fruit of the Loom, the Hanes like sweatsuits, and just throw on a pair of like Air Maxes and a hat like this. Actually, it's one of those hats that was over there with me. And that would be my fit, and I would just have a chain on the outside. I'm like, bro, they smoking some of these cigarettes in here, dog. Like, I can't put on no fly shit for real. I don't want to, like, ew, I'm gonna be stinking.
Yeah, I don't want to smell like tobacco. And hell, even here, they've got areas like by the bus stop type areas, how a bus stop would be somewhere. They have areas, they have smoking areas because they don't want you walking around smoking. But there are areas where you will literally see 15 people packed in smoking cigarettes standing there. So it's a big culture thing for them smoking out here, for sure. There are cigarette stands.
Let's get back to those
tobacco stands.
Let's get back to those Georgia Bulldogs, right? So everything is set up for Georgia to three-peat. The schedule is softer than baby ass. The team it's an assembly line, man. It's Ford back in the day. You know what I mean? Like it's just new part, put it in. New part, put it in. Kirby has this thing going, and all we need is competent quarterback play because Alabama is down. As far as like we don't know what they have at quarterback, but from what we've seen, it's not what it's been in the past. LSU, I think, is overrated by everybody else because they want LSU to be great, and the national media loves Brian Kelly.
Well, they're set down. I'll say this: they're set up for it though, because it's year 2 of B. Kelly. For what it's worth, it is the second year, and this is kind of where the jump. They overachieved last year, obviously by winning the West, and they are the only team that we can just flat out say, has an edge because they've got the same quarterback from last year starting. And this is a guy that Jaden Daniels has played a lot of football. I don't think he's all that good, but like he has played a lot of football. He's a Herm Edwards guy from Arizona State, and he gets to get in his second year with B. Kelly, and LSU always has talent. So like, the talent's going to be around him. So,
I'm a big Brian Kelly guy though. Like,
you liked them to win. Yeah, you picked them to win the West last year.
Yeah, so like I'm like me saying this for those of you on the outside. I'm trying to be objective right now, but I won't be shocked if LSU wins the West. But I also won't be shocked if some weird shit happens and Lane Kiffin wins the West on some weird 2-loss shit. Like he won't go undefeated in the West. Like that won't happen. But like
it'll be one of those things where it's a 3-way tiebreaker that they somehow have the win over. Yeah, because they will have. Let's say that they lost to Alabama but beat LSU, but then LSU beat Alabama again but lost to Ole Miss, and then it'll just be on some strength of schedule or common opponent. They fucking just did better. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of them things, and maybe Alabama slips up to like A&M or Tennessee again. You know what I mean? Like it's one of them things where it can just get funky.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt that Alabama loses to Tennessee again, though, because people think we're not going to talk about this week, but if you watch the swamp thing, Doc, whatever the fuck this shit was called, here's where Saban is better than Herb. Saban knows how to win. Saban knows how to be the head honcho, the lead dog. Herb is only his best as an underdog. I'm going to leave it at that, right? But we're worried about Tennessee because Milton can launch that thing, and Heupel is going to spread it out and hope that Venables shits down his leg again so he can go home. But I'm not afraid of Spencer Rattler.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get Alabama in the West. I'm not afraid of Auburn in Hugh Freeze in year one. Mark Stoops, no. Shane Beamer, no. I mean, I talked about Rattler already. The game is Tennessee, and the thing about Kirby that I love about him more than Mark Richt, and I love this before he won the Natty, is Kirby does not lose the games that he's not supposed to lose. Outside of like that one down year, I think it was like the COVID year. I just throw that shit out. But Kirby, you know how Mark Richt would either lose the game, he would either lose the 2 games he's supposed to win, or excuse me, win the 2 games lose the 2 games he's supposed to lose. Cool, whatever. 10-win season, fine. But usually at the top, he would lose to South Carolina, or he would lose to Boise State, or he would drop that random SEC game where it's like, dog, we're not supposed to lose to Auburn this year. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And we're one loss away from where we need to be, and it's the game that we shouldn't have lost. Kirby doesn't lose those games. So that's why I'm confident for the most part, outside of everything but Tennessee, SEC championship, and dog, we can't three-peat? As a Georgia sports fan, we're not supposed to be comfortable with the idea of, yeah, dog, we're going to three-peat. Like, that's not our sports karma.
I just feel so good about it because Kirby has given us this belief because he's proven it. He's shown it. We have the proof. And it's kind of just like you said, Georgia sports fans aren't supposed to feel this confident. I feel just as confident about the Braves because I believe it now, because I've seen it. They did it already. So it's not, crazy to really think that they can do it. And it only helps even more that they do have a soft baby's ass of a schedule. Like that really does help this thing, because then you start talking about, man, they got 4 games they got to win this year. And they're going to be pretty well rested, I would imagine, unless some sort of an injury bug just takes over the team. But even then, I mean, next man up, like you said, it's an assembly line. These guys, Kirby said it best at SEC Media Day when they asked him about the three-peat. He said, this is not about three-peating and winning again. He said, those guys can't hang their hat on what the guys the year before them and the year before them did. He said, because this is not the same team. He said that complacency is going to be our biggest, thing that we have to and I love it. I fucking love it because he's absolutely right.
I'm getting excited because I was, as a high school athlete, I was not the guy who got too hyped up off the shit the coaches say. Kirby, though, he's one of those that like hits, he strikes a nerve because he's like, no, we're not. It's not the three-peat, bro. We're fighting complacency. And you go, you don't even, you're not thinking about the end result. You're thinking about the process.
Yeah.
You're thinking about the process. So like,
yeah,
when you are, when for one, your process is the right process, and that you don't have to focus on how you spit it out. What you spit out, you focus on what you put in and what you do in there, because you're going to spit out the right shit. And you know that you were Saban's best recruiter, and Athens is a better city than Tuscaloosa because of the proximity to Atlanta, because you got Quavo Huncho who will pull up on any given day just to fuck with y'all because he's a Georgia fan. Hey, Nick, I got something you ain't got. You might be able to out-coach me, but I can out recruit you, and I got a better city, dog.
Man, let me tell you, that complacency quote, it was deeper than football, man. Because it's true. That's a life lesson for them about getting complacent about anything. Like
as a parent, I like that.
Yeah, like it's deeper than football. Like it's this is a lifestyle. Like we can't get complacent, guys. And oh man, and obviously we hear him when he's his pregame.
Hold on. I'm about to give you some Kirby. Let's see if I can find it.
Complacency. The first thing you have to do is acknowledge that it's a threat. If you acknowledge that complacency is a threat, it's the first step towards stomping it out. We look for two things when we look for people to join our organization. I'm not talking about players. I'm talking about anybody in our organization. Do they love football, and do they embrace being part of something bigger than themselves? Are they selfless? Like, we want to find people who love football and embrace a selfless role. And those two qualities, loving football and embracing being selfless, are not dependent on outcomes. They're not dependent on win or loss. Did I get a sack? Did I touch the ball? That's not what we're looking for, guys that are dependent on outcomes. We want guys that think independent of outcomes. So when you see complacency take over, it's when a team's enthusiasm and ego start worrying about outcomes. That's not what we do at Georgia. That's not what we bring into our place. That's not what we bring into the culture we want to have. We want selfless people who love football, and that's what we build around.
And you know what, real quick, this is my knock on Herb, because they talked about the year they went undefeated and lost to Alabama, 2009, when they lost in the SEC championship when Tim Tebow came back, is they said that year wasn't fun because the focus was around winning every game. It wasn't about doing things the right way, because Herb, he's a results guy. He's in his head. He's an emotional wreck. He's super anxious, right? Like, he talks about this stuff, right? And I think his little leave of absence that he took before he took the Ohio State job, when he knew Florida wasn't going to be shit. I do think what he was going through was valid. But when you hear them talk about that shit and you go, oh, he was so focused on results, what speaks to me is you don't trust your process. You don't trust yourself. You don't trust your people. That's the difference between like Herb and Nick, Herb and Kirby, because Kirby's one away from tying you, Herb. If he ties you, he ain't been doing it as long, not nearly as long.
Yeah, he's built a powerhouse, and it's gonna be tough to beat these guys, even if they don't win it all this year. I mean, you've got to feel good about them winning it all next year, because you know what's coming down that pipeline. And Kirby's not leaving Georgia to take any job except I could maybe see possibly the NFL. I don't know if that's something he's interested in, but he's not leaving the Georgia job to take another college job. There is no job to him better than the Georgia job.
There isn't a better job if you're Kirby Smart, right? Some might say USC. He can't go to USC. He can't work at USC.
He doesn't want to. I mean, he doesn't want to. Like even the Alabama job.
Why?
Nick retires. I don't think he would leave. Why? Like you said, why? Athens is better than Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, like no, I wouldn't. Kirby might be here when we're sending our daughters to college, honestly.
Yeah. I see if he doesn't want to coach in the pros, I easily see him having a Joe Paterno type. Now, maybe it won't get to 55, 60 years like that motherfucker. But I could easily see him doing a 30-year stint. I could easily see him doing a 30-year stint at Georgia.
Well, he's one of two natties, man. Like he's good for 15 years as long as he doesn't have like 3-win seasons.
And that's not happening.
No,
that's not happening. Kentucky is not going to allocate all of its basketball funds to football to overtake. Like, motherfuckers aren't going to be like, man, I'm trying to go to Columbia, South Carolina. Like, that's not going to happen out of the blue. Vanderbilt, their alumni are not going to put together all of their money to get a game-changing guy in there to change anything. They're not going to have a 3-win season.
That's the problem with Vanderbilt, because Nashville might be the best city in the SEC.
Actual city, yes.
Vanderbilt,
it's everybody's favorite road game to go to, I bet. Whenever you play Vandy.
Vanderbilt has ACC academic standards. It's a real party city. Like, fuck College Town. Nashville's fun.
Yeah, I love Nashville.
Bro, about 10 years ago, I went to Nashville. Take my glass, boy. But I shout out to T1. You know what, Parlay Pete? I don't do this often. I'm gonna see if I can actually get a caller to answer the phone real quick. Just
go ahead.
Hold on, let me put my headphones.
Hurry up. You on the pod, so don't say nothing crazy. God damn, boy, what you got going on over there?
Oh shit.
You gotta give him some AirPods.
Wait, hold on.
We gotta give some AirPods, Parlay Pete, because he taking it out of his pocket. He getting them he doing all this right here.
Right.
And plugging them in and shit. In the bar right now.
That's what it sounds like.
It's Thursday night. He's probably at the local.
All right, here we go. We're in the building now.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm about to hang up on your head.
Damn. Hello?
Hello. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I'm on the pod with Parlay Pete right now. We're talking about Nashville, and we're saying how the worst thing that Vanderbilt is doing is having those academic standards for football, but Vanderbilt could be a great SEC football program if they just kick their academic standards just to get niggas in to play football because of how great Nashville is.
Yeah, I agree.
Tell us how great Nashville is. You lived there for 4-5 years.
I mean, it's even better now. Nashville, as the city, is just fucking lit now, though. So you don't even have to go downtown. There's other places you can go.
Tell them about Limelight back in the day before it died, RIP, 4 for 1s.
About Limelight?
Yeah, Limelight. Limelight back in the day, we was in college.
Shit,
4 for 1, huh?
4 for 1s, Parlay Pete.
Hey, yeah,
no bullshit. 4 for 1s.
We get sometimes 5 for 1. But we get in there about 6 o'clock, and that's 4 for 1. And you go to each hour, it go down 3 for 1, 2 for 1. So by the time I'm supposed to do anything that night, they already drunk.
And
Right.
I'm gonna tell you, Parlay Pete, like I done ran that Limelight night with my guy T1, right? Sometimes you don't leave Limelight because everybody in there so fucked up, and it end up jumping in there that become the move.
That, and then more importantly, if you're doing 4 for 1, your pockets feel pretty good too. To go along with it, the fact that you're already loaded, but now financially you're doing the right thing too.
We're talking house drinks. I mean, like a $6 cocktail in 2013.
Right.
So 4 cocktails for $6.
They feed you a full course meal. So you got everything from chicken, pulled pork, steak, and
is that how
they got every side to go with it.
Is that how you grew your stomach?
Man, yeah, they knew what they was doing, bro. I hate it didn't work out.
Because when you left Cartersville in 2010, you had abs. They used to call you Iron Man. Now they call you I don't know, Mark Henry. Nah, you ain't the world.
Whatever.
They call you a Rakishi.
Man, but look.
Hey, that's exactly what Rikishi would say too.
Oh, yeah.
But no,
Y'all
bro,
crazy.
we were just talking about some SEC towns, and we talked about how like Vanderbilt and their high academic standards is fucking up Nashville. Because like Vanderbilt could be some shit if they said fuck the academics, which they would never do.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they should say fuck the academics. If I was them, you know, I would make a legit running one of these big name coaches. You know, everybody ain't gonna be prime, but if you get the right guy in that program, they might be able to turn that shit around.
Last question before I hang up. Who got the baddest bitches? Vanderbilt, Belmont, or TSU?
Vanderbilt, Belmont, or TSU. Come on, man.
Who got the baddest bitches?
You think folks going over to Vanderbilt to see them Taylor Swift built bitches over there? Hey, man, ain't nothing like Tennessee State University, baby.
hey, Dean, you remember Shawty from that somebody came up there. We're gonna keep it at that. Don't say nothing else.
All right. All right, dog.
I'll holler at you. Thanks for answering and talking shit with us.
As I say, thanks for coming on, T.
He coming week 1 this year. He gonna fuck with us week 1. I'll tell you a single story about TSU real quick, right? So he was doing summer school the summer after I graduated.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't starting my job until October. So I went up, I took the megabus up there for like 3 weeks. I ain't had shit to do, you know what I'm saying? So he had a distributor who came through, you know. So he in class, I'm at the house. But like summer school up there was actually like lit for like upperclassmen, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So we out every night on something, but it's people. And I met this one little tender up there, and I was like, shit. Back in the day, I'd take my glasses off.
It's like that, huh?
Well, I guess because I was a Morehouse dude, and this is where I really saw like the Morehouse shit work. Cause I went up there my sophomore year, so your freshman year, I went up there one time. How they tell you like they like that Morehouse shit, but like when you go to Morehouse, you don't. Everybody from Morehouse, so like that shit don't work.
Yeah.
First time I went up there, they like, "Oh, you go to Morehouse?" And I'm up there like winning.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there like, hold on, because I go to this other school, this shit work?
You know what that's called? Brand recognition. Brand recognition. I tell you what, and I mean this seriously. I have never in my life seen an unsuccessful Morehouse man.
Me neither, because the ones who are successful, I don't talk to them, so I don't see them.
Exactly. And so everybody I know that's a successful Morehouse, everybody I know is for the, and I tell you what, let me preface it, because this is something I used to say before I graduated. So I want to talk about basically when I got there.
Hey,
the people I knew older than me.
Can you pull the chat up? And still talk?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm about to see something in the chat. I'm sorry. It's an audio show. I know y'all can't understand and see what just happened, but I made it funny. I swear to God, I made it funny.
Where about?
In the private chat of here.
Oh, hold on. I thought you were talking about.
Nah, not the group chat. Nah, I wouldn't put that in here.
Well, okay. So that's why I prefaced it. Yeah, because that was the first person I was thinking of, and I knew that when you agreed with me, I just knew that was somebody that you were probably thinking of, and so yeah, that's why I meant I wanted to preface that by saying this was something that I always thought ahead of time.
Jingle.
You know, apparently, debts have been paid back according
to
some.
Look at that cup, though.
Yeah, I'd see. I thought you were talking about our group chat because
no, I don't hang out with any bums from our school in the group chat.
No, I just thought what you were going to send was going to be in the group chat.
Oh yeah. I figured as much, but no. I wouldn't even go in there.
Because I got in here and I looked and I see all this Falcon chatter.
Here, bro, I'm not having Falcon preseason chatter when Pittsburgh rolled out there once because Mike Tomlin runs a tough program. He's like, hey, you're going to play football or you're not. Whereas Arthur Smith is a little bit more advanced. Not saying that he's right, but he's not going to play his guys in a game that doesn't matter, especially against a physical Pittsburgh team. I'm pretty sure TJ Watt didn't play without looking at anything. So, fuck off, Steelers.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see the ones go back out there, considering, like I said, we talked about how we haven't seen enough out of Desmond Ridder. And I know we're not talking Falcons football, but, considering he only gave us one drive and we have 4 games and 1 preseason drive to go off of for this guy. And so I think it would have been nice to see him go back out there again, even if it was just for 1 drive. But then again, I guess, maybe the thought was, hell, he might break his fucking collarbone. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, right?
And then who's playing quarterback? Now we got
Taylor Heineke. Somebody I have a little bit more of belief in. But I have no idea how he's looked today. But, just based off history, I know that Taylor Heineke gave Tom Brady his biggest scare in the playoffs as a Tampa Bay Buck. The Super Bowl season. So,
yeah, bro. Like, there's a trust and belief that I have in Heineke that I won't have with Desmond Ridder until it happens. This is not a Falcons show today. That's next week.
Yes, yeah, big show next week.
But like your brother said, like I can't wait to listen to the pod when you walk back those takes. He needs to understand I want to walk back my anti-Desmond Ridder takes. Betting against your own team is I want to lose my money.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm betting with my head, but I'm hoping with my heart. This is not like my anti-Desmond Ridder takes are my head. It's not my heart. My heart says believe in it.
I'm objectively talking about it, even though subjectively this is what I want.
Bro, yeah, like I want that Madden shit to come true. But
that is literally the perfect case scenario. Obviously,
Ridder,
right?
If Desmond Ridder is fucking Super Bowl MVP, I think we owe it to Josh Holsey to all fly out there to his house without telling him and just being at his house when he gets off from work for him to see me, you, Hoos, and Boink. And you can just come because he's a rabble-rouser and not a Falcons fan.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna do a surprise long weekend of Josh Holsey.
Yeah, I mean it'd be one of those things. Hell, the day after the Super Bowl, it's practically a day off now for everyone, anyways.
Yeah,
Super Bowl's in Las Vegas, so naturally plan to be out there. It'd be nothing to truck it over to San Diego to say hello to a friend.
Hey, and speaking of which, before we've got to have the merch logo conversation soon, so we can get that shit, the ACMP shit. We got to get that figured out so we can actually have those products, send them to our friends, make them wear them, and then also put that shit out to sale. So when we go out there for Super Bowl, we got some fly shit that's our shit, but actually look like shit that we'd wear, not some, hey, check out my podcast. Like, no, it's going to be some fun.
Right.
Yeah. So,
right.
But football season gives us that time to sit down together with less distractions and shit to talk and not weddings and people. What else in college football do you want to talk about? We got so much, man. We got Caleb Williams. We got Coach Prime. We got the playoffs. We got Ryan Day on like this weird hot seat. Fucking Harbaugh, who's not on the hot seat, but this is his last year at Michigan, if we're being real. Heisman Trophy. Does Clemson bounce back? Does DJU bring OSU over Oregon? Reggie Bush's lawsuit. Where you want to go, man? We got so much shit, and we're already out in.
Yeah, we've got obviously with college football, it's upon us now at this point. There's certainly a lot that you could get into. I think the biggest thing is with all the realignment, how does that change this season? What type of effect does that truly have on this season? This was the last season of college football as we know it, or as we've known it, really, for the most part. I mean, obviously, we've had realignment and guys dropping out before, your Texas A&M, your Arkansas, all these guys moving conference, right? But, it's going to be completely different next year. We got the 12-team playoff. We've got the super Big Ten, the super SEC. It's going to be really interesting to see how that has an effect on seasons this year. Because, for instance, you brought up DJU and Oregon State. They don't have a home currently, basically. And so how does that affect the guys on that roster? Do they mail it in after the second loss? I mean, what happens,
You know what? When we did our conference realignment show a year ago, we had it right. We had 5 conferences, and granted, we didn't agree all in all on the shit, right? Which is fine. But we had 5 conferences that set up all the major programs to be competitive throughout the season. And I think the only thing we were missing was, and maybe we talked about, I don't remember, but doing the outer conference. No, we did talk about doing an out of conference schedule on like some type of rolling basis where you play this team from this conference, like on some NFL type shit.
Yeah.
That makes the TV companies happy. That makes the schools happy. And it also satisfies the other sports, because if I'm playing fucking golf at Stanford, the last thing I'm trying to do is fly to North Carolina to play to fucking shoot 72 holes for 3 days. And I don't get 72 hours to fucking practice and get ready before I'm shooting. I'm only getting 24. I get 1 practice round, and then it's like, okay, yeah, you're playing in the morning. What time? Or 10 off at 8. Bro, that's 5 o'clock in my head.
Yeah, and think about it. Even in scenarios like that, like I said, Oregon State, Stanford, Cal, they've really got their hands are tied. I mean, they don't really have much of a choice. If the ACC really is going to offer them to get in, they have to almost take it. Like, they can't. What else are they going to do? Are they going to? They're not. I don't know if they're strong enough to go independent like Notre Dame.
No, they should double down on the West Coast teams that still exist. Utah, San Diego State,
But Utah's gone.
Where are they at? They're Big 12, aren't they? Fuck.
Yeah, man. It's look, and you can add Gonzaga and it be like how the old Big East used to be, where George. Well, I'm just saying where how the old Big East used to be, right? How you had Villanova and Georgetown in the basketball conference, but of course they weren't playing football. I mean, that's the only other way that they can salvage it. Yeah, they've got to get San Diego State, San Jose State, Utah State. Like, they're going to have to UNLV. They're going to have to add those schools in order for that thing to even remotely be salvaged. But now they're no longer a Power 5 conference. Even if the Pac-10 or Pac-12 stays the way that it is, they're not a Power 5 anymore.
And because they've waited too late to actually do it, they could have made it a Power 5 conference, because guess what? Put me on San Diego State recruiting team. I can get you some ball players. Because San Diego State has consistently put guys in the league. As a 23, 24 to about 27, 28-year-old living in San Diego, I'm telling you, young fella, you go there, stick with me, you'll never go hungry again.
Yeah, hell of a time. For sure.
Like, you can sell the city of San Diego, and that program is established enough to where you can sell fucking making money out there. But look, we're not going to keep here talking about fucking goddamn San Diego State being great. Coach Prime, first year at Colorado. He had Michael Irvin out this week talking to the program, talking to the guys. Coach Prime has 8, 9, 10 win expectations. Colorado was the worst Power 5 program in the country last year. What do you think Coach Prime can do based on the class he's brought in, the transfers brought in?
Yeah, they had the #1 transfer class in college football.
Do you think he can become bowl eligible in 1 year?
And I think that should be the realistic goal. I could see. I have to really look at the schedule.
Hey, Cook, I got to piss.
I'd have to really look at that schedule in order to tell you what's realistic in terms of a win total for them. I think that they had it set at 4.5. Maybe it was even 5.5, which is about bowl eligible, right? 6 wins typically is what gets you into the bowl game. I don't see them necessarily getting that done just because they are going to have stiff competition. I mean, they open against the runner-up from last year, right? TCU, who overachieved anyways in their own right. And it's just going to be tough for them to get off to a great start. And typically when schools like that do make these big jumps, it's because they start off pretty well. And I don't see it being one of those things where they can get off to that good start. And so, bowl eligible to me is the goal. That should be the goal for Colorado in year 1 with Prime. It's going to be hard for them to put together a string of wins, especially because they're another school that is leaving their conference. They're going from the Pac-12 back to the Big 12, and it's going to make the situation kind of murky. And so I just, we'll see what they end up doing, but I think that Prime is going to be able to get the most out of the group that he has. I don't know how many wins that's going to necessarily produce, but they're going to be able to get a lot out of them. And like I said, bowl eligibility is going to be pretty much the #1 goal for a team like that. And so it'll be a matter of what he can get out of those guys and whether or not he has put this change into the program. Can we see that? Can we see the results of, man, they play hard? Because talent-wise, even with the transfers, they're going to still be deficient. And so worst Power 5 school last season, bowl eligibility should be the goal. I don't think an 8, 9, 10 win team is even realistic.
Nah, I don't either. I look at like 6, 7 win. Don't get me wrong. This is not a knock on his coaching.
Mm-hmm.
It's, hey, dog, you got to have the right guys in the trenches. And if you don't have the right guys in the trenches, especially on the offensive line, it's just not going to happen at this higher level. But I'll tell you that I'm rooting for him because there are too many people with loud voices who aren't rooting for him. And you've heard the coaches call him out. This is not the right way. This ain't how you do it. You go, hold on. The NCAA says I can transfer this many people in. So if I'm doing that, what am I doing wrong? If you want to say that I'm wrong for not allowing these kids who are already here to remain here, but Colorado was the worst school in the Power 5. Like their point differential was like over 20 points. I want to say it was like close to like 28, 29.
Yeah, they were losing the way that Georgia was beating people.
And Northwestern was the team, like the second worst team, and their point differential was over a touchdown from the second worst team. Like, hey, these niggas who are here, they ain't good. So I want to be good. They got to go. You know what? I bet you can go play AA ball or FCS, whatever y'all call it now. You can go play some D2 ball. Morehouse would be happy to have your ass. Clark, Atlanta, take you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you can go to Valdosta State, play some good AA ball down there. Georgia Southern, you know what I mean? or you West Coast guys, you know, maybe you can go to a San Diego State or San Jose State, you know, in a non-Power 5 but D1 school, or maybe you got to go to fucking motherfucking USC or Cal State Fullerton, nigga. I don't know, but Deion said he got that Louis V luggage and he bringing it, and he brought it. So for all these college coaches who's mad at what he's doing, who acting like it's about love of the game and taking care of the kids, y'all the same niggas that mad they get NIL. And NIL is still some bullshit because they're not getting paid by the school who is making the money. Like, you're allowing them to get paid. Like, you're allowing them to get endorsement deals.
They're the same guys that are, you know, listening to USC when they call. You know, there's not a loyalty to the kids for them. So, you know, it's
if Kinky Link follows Caleb to Tampa next year and USC calls one of these motherfuckers, they're gonna be like, how much?
Okay.
I'll take less if you buy my house and give me 75% access to the private jet. Got yourself a goddamn deal.
Yeah. And so, I hope that Prime does have success. I mean, obviously, big. He's always somebody too that's championed the Falcons. You know, as a former player, so of course him being a Falcon always helps. And plus, I mean, he's Prime. Nobody. I don't have a.
He's Prime. And dog, hold on. I didn't plan to rant here. I wish I had my. Shout out to Dice, right? But my issue with the way these people talk about Prime is they treat Prime like he's prime time all the time. They don't treat him like he's Coach Sanders. They don't treat him like he's Deion Sanders. They look at him doing his whoop, 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 whoop when he run the pick six back, but they don't look at what it took for him to get the pick six. It's not just because he's the fastest person on the field. No, he watches film. He's a smart player. He breaks the shit down. When you listen to him talk about it, you look good, you play good. I look the same way every game. I have my stuff set up before I come into there. Guess what? That speaks to somebody who's meticulous. Somebody who cares about his process. He's like, yo, no, I'm not a big trash talker. I don't trash talk on the field. No, I let my play do the talking. Right? Like, he might talk to the media, but he ain't, but he respects the players. Like, Deion respects the process, and a lot of these punk ass coaches who don't have the same fame, they don't have the same notoriety as the Deion Sanders, they are threatened by him. It's like, hey, dog, he paid his dues. He coached high school ball for years. He coached his sons. Shador, Shiloh had stars. You know what I'm saying? Like, Shiloh went to South Carolina. He transferred to Jack State. Shador went with him to Jack State, but he had offers elsewhere. Saban offered him. Kirby offered him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't have to go to Jack State to be a quarterback. He went to support his dad. That's that group economic shit that we're trying to build in the black community where, hey, dog, I'm good, you good. I'm going to come rock with you even at a lesser opportunity because I see the bigger picture, right? Again, these are his kids, a little bit different. So then he brings his kids with him to Colorado, a program who would have loved to have his motherfucking kids out of high school. He brings them there. He brings Travis Hunter, 5-star, best player out of his recruiting class. Got Saban pissed off. Got Norvell pissed off because they thought he was coming to Florida State. No, he got it. So he's bringing these players here. He coached high school. He coached HBCU. He dominated in high school. He dominated HBCU. Yeah, he didn't win a championship. It's okay. He ain't swag. I know swag niggas get a little offended because he ain't swag. Now, he bigger than swag. He's football. And then he parlays his success at Jackson State. He parlays his recruiting prowess at Jackson State. He parlays the name that he built as a great player. And he takes that shit to Colorado. And y'all mad? Hey, Mike Gundy. Sorry, Dion has a bigger name than you. Hey, name that coach who's mad at Dion. He has a bigger name than you. Shout out to Matt Rule. Shout out to Matt Rule. I listened to Matt Rule on Cowherd yesterday, right? And he was referencing how Link turned around USC in 1 year. What he's trying to do at Nebraska. He shouted out Coach Prime. He said, "Hey, Coach." He called him Coach Sanders because he said y'all don't call Coach Saban Nick. I call him Coach Saban. He called him Coach Sanders. And he talked about what Coach Saban, what Coach Sanders was doing, and he goes, "We're trying to do the same thing. We're trying to bring in these types of guys to our program and turn it around as quickly as possible." And just the fact that Matt Rule, who might be the best fixer in college football right now, what did at Temple, what did at Baylor? Like, the nigga's a fixer.
Yeah.
And to shout out Coach Prime in that way, Coach Sanders in that way, it's fucking beautiful. And it's the respect of a peer that I think more of his peers need to do. But you got these old curmudgeon white coaches who want to control the players, who don't like it because he can get the guy that you want because of what he did as a player.
Yeah.
Irvin was at Colorado practice this week. I'm sure Shannon Sharp gonna pull up to Colorado practice. If he want Warren Sapp there, he'll pull up. If he want to call Randy Moss, he'll pull up. Name your favorite player from the 2000s, the 90s. Dion can get him to pull up because that's who Dion is. And I think that Dion gets this rap as being this flashy guy because a lot of the whites think because you're flashy, you don't put in the work. But Parlay Pete, you know why I wear this stick chain?
Why's that?
Because I worked hard to get the money to buy it. I didn't put that shit on credit. I bought it because I said, hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. I went to the jewelry store looking for some like regular ass thin gold chains. I saw this motherfucker and I was with my partner. Shout out to Chew. He was like, you gonna buy that motherfucker? I said, nigga, kiss my ass. And I said, I like it. I said, I want that one. How much? He told me a price. I said, the fuck out of here, bro. I'm paying this right here. If I don't get this price, I'm leaving. No. I can't give you this. I bet I'm out of here. My friend. Come on, come back, my friend. He gave it to me at the price that I wanted it. I swiped my debit card. I didn't have to call the bank and say, hey, bank, I'm about to make a purchase. Nah, I swiped that shit. I walked out with that shit. I put it on my motherfucking neck.
That's put that shit on.
Put that shit on. But that's the same shit Dion's doing. The same shit that Coach Prime is doing. He's putting in the work, but because he got a little flash and pizzazz, people don't want to respect the work. He wasn't Eddie George. Never coached before in his life. He coached high school ball. He won games. He coached lower level D1 ball. He won games. He recruited well. So now we're going to give him a shot in the Power 5. He's not at a great program. It ain't like he got the Florida State job.
Yeah.
It ain't like he got like the Houston job, the SMU job. Niggas at Colorado. Worst team in the Power 5. What the fuck you mad for?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. Like I said, I don't see it because that's just like you said, it's trench work there. I mean, if you're getting beat at the line of scrimmage, you're not going to win very many games. And I don't know if he's got those big asses in there yet. You know, those asses that Bill Belichick looks for. I don't think he's got those guys yet. You know.
Yeah, nah. Damn. You think Caleb repeats as the Heisman?
No, and it's because it doesn't happen very often. Or it's happened once actually, but I think that there's going to be somebody that has a season that we don't see coming, and that's typically kind of what happens. Like obviously, we watched the Johnny Manziel thing, relatively unknown before he won the Heisman, right? It wasn't like he was just this ridiculously highly touted guy that everybody knew. I just think that there's going to be somebody that kind of comes from nowhere that ultimately ends up doing, or I could see a guy like a Bo Nix in year 2 maybe doing something like that.
Or
right?
Michael Penix,
another guy that is seasoned and could do it. USC lost Jordan Addison. I don't know who their top guy is going to be from that perspective, and that stuff matters, having dogs at these other positions that directly affect your productivity. I don't see it. Obviously, who knows? Carson Beck, who knows? If he fucking shows out, he's gonna be put in the position to do it. He's gonna have the players around him. We know he's gonna have that. It could easily be somebody else. So I would definitely bet the field.
What about Marvin Harrison Jr.? Do you think Marvin Harrison Jr. has the legit shot at winning the Heisman, some Devontae Smith type shit?
Absolutely. I mean, from what obviously I got to see him, he was fucking cooking Georgia. He was cooking that game.
Hey,
and of course he's got the pedigree of his dad, right? So go ahead. What were you saying?
Don't he look like Triangle Face?
Hey, he's a spitting image of his fucking dad, too.
Yeah, on the field. Boy, that motherfucker up. But Marvin Harrison is whew.
Yeah, they've got, but he's got a legitimate shot. I don't even know who's throwing him the ball either, though, which that could, there's a reason CJ Stroud went too. That boy can ball too. Now I don't know what he's going to do in the pros, but he sure as hell he can ball. But yeah, him. It's a quarterback award, but like you said, if he has a Devontae Smith type year, I could easily see him getting it done.
You think Blake Corum has a chance out of Michigan?
He was in it like last year, wasn't he? Or 2 years? Like he was in it 1 year and he got hurt, and that just kind of
he got hurt.
Yeah, and it completely kind of dropped him out. No. To be honest with you, I don't see him doing it. No.
Do you see Michigan winning the Big Ten?
By default, yeah. And the reason why is because I don't know the Ohio State quarterback situation. They've lost 2 years in a row with CJ Stroud, so let alone I'm sure they got a guy that's more than capable coming in, but because we don't know the quarterback situation, I would have to put my money on Michigan to take care of business. Plus, this is supposed to be Jim Harbaugh's best team that he's had since he's been there. Not to mention, we both believe that this is going to be his last season with Big Blue.
I didn't say that on the record.
Well, I tell you what, I am. I'm saying it on the record. I think that he does.
Out of there.
I think he has an itch to coach in the NFL, and then I also think that the fact that they rescinded a 4-game suspension because they could not agree on it tells me that he's going to fucking get suspended for a year. And if he gets suspended for a year, he's just going to leave. I mean, because he can coach in the NFL.
He took the self-imposed 3.
What do you mean?
He took a self-imposed 3-game suspension.
Okay, so he did do. So he's not going to coach opening week.
No, he's not coaching the first 3 games.
Okay, I didn't see that, and so when did they announce that?
I heard Joe Klatt talk about it earlier this week. I don't remember what day.
That probably still isn't going to save his ass. Maybe it'll lighten the blow, but whatever it is clearly some shit. But either way, point being, there's going to be a pro job that wants him, and he'll be able to get any pro job kind of he wants.
Hey,
reality,
what pro job do you think he actually gets next year? What pro teams do you think are going to fire their head coach? This podcast is gonna be so hard to chop because we're at an hour and a half, and we're not ready for hour 2 yet. But where do you think it's gonna chop? Where do you think he's gonna end up at?
You know, I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but I could easily see, a job like if the Lions fall flat.
Okay.
I could see them getting rid of Campbell if they don't live up to the expectation this season. Let's say that they go 7-10. I could see them making that type of hire. There's always the
you think Arthur Smith's having a bad season and getting fired, getting wrongly fired, and us bringing in Harbaugh?
No, I don't think. I mean, I think it would have to be a disaster type year for him
to do what Falcons do. Look at that.
I think it would have to be a disaster year for him to get fired. So I don't see him. I don't see that happening, and I just don't see him getting fired. Let's see. Gosh, you got to look at kind of the pro jobs that would even be open. Maybe Eberflus could get the hook. I mean, Harbaugh did play with the Bears. Maybe he gets the hook if there's no progression in Justin Fields and they, lose, 12, 13, 14 games. Could see that. Because you got to think about it, a lot of places have already got their guys.
I think Carolina should have kept Cliff for one more year.
I'm listening. Keep talking. I need to grab something. I'm listening, though. Keep going.
No, I think not Carolina. I think the Cardinals should have kept Cliff for one more year. Just because they're going to be terrible this year. And I don't know if Gannon is the – hold on. I don't know if Carolina has – not Carolina. I don't know if the Cardinals have the right coach. Yeah, Jonathan Gannon. I'm not a Jonathan Gannon fan, but I don't think that Gannon – Carolina's tanking. They're committed to Caleb. I should put that on the T-shirt. # committed to Caleb. Cardinals are committed to Caleb. I don't know if Jonathan Gannon's the guy, but I think they should have gave Cliff one more year knowing they would fire him after they get this #1 pick because the Cardinals are committed to the tank job. They just brought in Josh Dobbs. And Josh Dobbs is like the best third-string quarterback in the league. And I think he's going to be a starter by like week 4. Because Colt McCoy is not producing at a starter level, but he's going to produce at a Colt McCoy level, which is expected.
I was going to literally just ask you that. Over under 3.5 games Josh Dobbs starts this season.
Oh, bro, give me the over. And just a little, I haven't looked at the over-unders yet to commit to memory. I've looked at some of them, but I'm betting the Cardinals under still.
Oh, yeah. And I think it's like 3.5.
Yeah, under. Give me 2 wins.
Yeah. Hell, it already came out that they're not favored in any game this season. None.
Hey, so question though, because we think Harbaugh is going to leave no matter what happens this year. Cowherd says that the national championship is going to be Harbaugh versus Brian Kelly. I think he's smoking cop because if Brian Kelly gets there, Kirby Smart gets there.
Yeah, I don't see a scenario where Georgia's not in the playoffs. Certainly the winner of the Big Ten is probably going to get in. So basically the winner of the Ohio State-Michigan game. Even though Penn State is a school that everybody, is continuing to have these like exit. And you got to think, even a guy like James Franklin, he's kind of got to get this thing turned around, doesn't he? Like he's got to finally have one of those years.
I think James Franklin is safe until the second year of the 12 team.
Well, they're going to make it.
Yeah,
the thought would be that they're going to make it.
And that's what he got to get a chance to make it. So do you think if Michigan wins against Ohio State this year, Ryan Day's on the hot seat?
Yeah, he has to be. 3 years in a row. When's the last time that happened?
I don't know. Probably never.
Exactly. Ohio State's always been the one that, at least in recent memory, has kind of been the one that's been dominating that. I mean, did Herb lose to Jim Harbaugh at all?
Fuck no. Herb barely lost to Saban. Herb is him.
Let's see. Yeah, it'll be interesting, but Jim Harbaugh, like I said, probably his last year. Great parting gift would be to give your where you're an alumnus, give them what they've been looking for. Oh, I don't know. When's the last time Michigan won a national championship?
97, 98, whatever year that was, like before our dicks got hard.
Exactly. So, it's put up or shut up for guys like that. Who do you see as being your surprise team in college this year that nobody's talking about?
I don't have a surprise team that nobody's talking about, but the closest thing to a surprise team I have is LSU making the playoff. Bro, you know I'm a BK guy. If you want to go like straight up surprise team, I go Notre Dame.
Okay.
Good quarterback. You got the transfer from Wake Forest.
Yep, Sam Hartman.
You got Sam Hartman. I think that Brian Freeman, not Brian Freeman. That's the nigga went to Morehouse with. I think that Mark coach. So I think Notre Dame could come out of their schedule with one loss. And if they beat USC, they're going to the playoffs. So my surprise team would be Notre Dame. But okay. I think they get trounced in the playoff by the other SEC team.
Yeah.
Because they're likely a 4 seed and they play the winner of the SEC championship. They probably play Georgia or LSU.
Maybe Alabama. He's still Nick Saban, goddammit.
Bro, call me crazy, but I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if the SEC has the 3 best teams: Georgia, Alabama, and LSU next year. Now I know the TV networks won't do that for the playoff.
Right.
If we're talking one-loss teams, they're going to pick Ohio State or Michigan. But let's be real. The Big Ten is not the SEC.
Not yet, but that's what they're trending towards for next year.
Maybe, but hey, this is hour 1. Hour 1, we had some fun. And hour 1 was almost 2 hours. Who gives a fuck?